Janet, I haven't seen you in ages. Good. Let me find the link. I got lots of comments from people last week who enjoyed the curriculum nature of the class. They didn't bloody come, but they said, "Oh, I really enjoyed that. I learned so much." And I was like, "Yeah, get your fucking ass into class." Invite people. One second. Oh shit, Derek sent me something. I haven't looked at that. Hang on, who sent me a message? Claire, I'll be there tonight. I just sleep by 8. Got some hideous work. Harris, that's a voice message. Derek, take a look at the names on the. Oh my god, why the hell don't more people know this? I am so taking over your socials. Need advertising. Oh, good grief. Lovely. Yes, I was just typing to your Derek, Claire. I've just written, I am so taking over your socials. You so need advertising. Just another amazing thing that he's just randomly gone, oh, I just basically choreographed the entirety of 42nd Street and so and so and so and so. It's just like, fucking hell, people need to know this person has a class. Right. I just don't understand, but I'm literally just getting to the point. I'm getting my birthday out of the way, and I've said I'm coming to your house, and I'm literally just going to go, Derek, password. Just give me the bloody password. Set it up. Find a new password. I'm just going to do it.
He doesn't mind.
I just cannot not have him. No, like, oh my god, it's just a waste. Even if he was a bellend and I didn't even like him, it's just a waste that somebody that knows all this isn't just been doing stuff. Right. Good. So, quick check and see if you remember from last week. James, say for me. Do it now. You have to do it in the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger as well.
How do you say what, sorry?
How do you say do it?
Fix.
Stand still. Look at Lukey. Do you call me VOUS?
No.
No. So what does an imperative have to begin with? It has to begin with either what or what. Clara, like the red in your head.
Verb or no.
The verb or the word no. So how do you normally say you do? Tu
fais.
Right, so how do you say do it?
Fais. Fais là.
Where's the it?
Fais là.
If we're referring to a generic verbal concept, the gender of which is not known, what are we going to go with?
Le.
So certainly do it.
Fais le.
Good, we got there. Lovely. Say if you don't do it, James, don't do it.
Ne le fais pas.
Good boy. Because we've got the negative as bookends, we don't have to move our pronouns, do we? So we move our pronoun if we start with the verb, because logically we can't start with me touche, touch me. So pardon the expression, Claire, but how would you say touch me to somebody? How would you say touch me?
Touche-moi.
How would you say don't touch me?
Ne me touche pas.
Good. As the song, Jacques Brel song, Ne me quitte pas, don't leave me, yeah? Happy song. Okay. James, one other thing for you. How would you say to somebody, you come to my house, and I say, please take your shoes off.
Right. What was the question?
How would you say if you came to my house and I said to you, please take your shoes off? How would you say, please take your shoes off?
Merci de.
Good, that is my favorite choice. Je vous prie, fine, but formal. Veuillez, fine, super formal. Yeah? You know, formal. Que tu enlèves, que t'enlèves, slang. Merci de, go with it as your favorite. Lovely, so please take your shoes off.
Merci de.
Begins with an E. What's the verb to take? What's the verb to remove? I have an idea. Janet, what's the verb to remove? There is a gun at your head over pronunciation.
Enlever.
Enlever, not enlever, as we keep getting from various people who live north of the, the line. Lovely. So go again for me, James. Stephanie, please take your shoes off. Merci d'enlever. Off again. Please take your shoes off.
Merci d'enlever tes chaussures.
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 Good. Good. Excellent. Right. Jenna. Our focus in today's class is questions. We're particularly focusing on formal questions and informal questions. What we basically mean is, other than just using tu and vous, what tonally can we get people to do? So here are upfront, the things I want us to focus on. When we ask a question, there are basically three methods: tone of voice, est-ce qu'est-ce, or inversion. Tone of voice, est-ce qu'est-ce, or inversion. This is if the question doesn't have an interrogative word. So Jenna, purely with the tone of voice, would you please say for me, are you ready? And imagine that you're speaking to a vous person. How would you say for me, are you ready? Purely with the tone of voice.
Mm.
No, I mean, use the words, but don't use any other questioning words. So how would you say, are you ready? But you're only going to use your tone of voice to show me that it's a question. You're not going to use any questioning style words. So how do you say, are you ready?
Vous êtes prêt?
Well done. So we say it like a statement. So a statement would be, oh yeah, you're ready. Oh, vous êtes prêt? The question, vous êtes prêt? So it's purely the tone of voice which makes it a question. Our next method would be est-ce qu'est-ce. Using est-ce qu'est-ce as you see fit, how would you say, are you ready?
Est-ce que vous êtes prêt?
Lovely. And now using an inversion, which is our third method, would you give me, are you ready?
Êtes-vous prêt?
Lovely. Not my particular favourite. Things I don't mind inversions on are when you've got an auxiliary verb. I can kind of cope with that. So generally, you do me three more questions. Will you give me, have you eaten? Three methods: tone of voice, est-ce qu'est-ce, and inversion. Use a vous again. Have you eaten?
Avez-vous mangé?
We went with inversion first. Lovely.
Est-ce que vous avez mangé?
We went with est-ce que and the tone of voice. What did I say? Look at Auntie Lukey, look at Auntie Lukey, look at Auntie Lukey. This one is particularly important, guys, for the twos. What would the statement, you have eaten, be as a statement? What would it be as a statement?
Vous avez mangé.
Now use a tone of voice to make that a question.
Vous avez mangé?
There we go. With the vous lot, you're more likely to hear est-ce and inversions. Yeah? Monsieur, est-ce que vous avez mangé? Monsieur, vous avez mangé? Yeah, but monsieur, avez-vous mangé? Yeah. You'll even hear, auriez-vous mangé? Would you have eaten? Vous auriez pas mangé, monsieur? You wouldn't have eaten by any chance. You're going to hear all these kind of formal things. When we use tu, I am telling you, unless told otherwise today, don't use est-ce in. If I'm talking to Claire and I'm in a pub and I say, Claire, do you want something to drink? I would never in French say, est-ce que tu veux quelque chose à boire? I would never say that. Claire, tu prends quoi? Tu prends quelque chose, Claire? Tu veux quelque chose? I wouldn't even say, prends-tu ou veux-tu quelque chose? I just wouldn't. I just use, and I swear to God, most people do the same. Tu veux quelque chose à boire, Claire? I wouldn't use anything apart from that. If I'm vouvoying somebody, I massively would go, Monsieur, est-ce que vous voulez quelque chose à boire? Or, Monsieur, désirez-vous quelque chose, Monsieur? I might take the verb up in formality, but for the moment, I'd like you to use est-ce que for vous. Right. So now we do, actually, no, let's just establish that. Let's just do that with everybody else. So just do the basic three. Notice these are questions that do not have an interrogative word. They don't have a question word, they're just basically like yes, no style questions. So Janet, do for me, do you live in Canada? Do you live in Canada? With a vous, please, again, three different ways.
Vous habitez au Canada?
Lovely.
Est-ce que vous habitez au Canada?
Good.
Habitez-vous au Canada?
Good. Claire, can you do you want something to drink? That's a silly question though, because I always think, well, who says no? But yeah, but let's hypothetically imagine that somebody said, so do you want something to drink? Do you want something to drink? Again, could you go with the vous, if that's right? 3 methods.
Est-ce que vous voulez quelque chose à boire?
Lovely, look how quick your lips are getting. Est-ce que vous voulez? Nice. A blur of V. A blur of V. All right? A bit like a basic instinct, just a blur of V. On the interview, when she uncrosses her legs, a blur of V. So, est-ce que vous voulez quelque chose à boire? Lovely. Next one.
Vous voulez quelque chose à boire?
Lovely. Or the next one.
Voulez-vous quelque chose à boire?
Which we learned from ABBA, didn't we? Voulez-vous? Like, yeah, exactly. Voulez-vous quelque chose à... Lovely. Perfect, 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 perfect. Good. Right. Now let's start playing with some interrogative words. Okay. Claire, stay with you. Let's go the other way around in a circle. Say for me, what time did you arrive? Let's go with the vous for the moment still. What time did you arrive?
Vous avez arrivé à quelle heure?
That'd be lovely, but it's an adverb.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Don't say sorry, it's right.
Vous êtes arrivé à quelle heure?
Good. Just for me, you guys that are doing really well, don't dwell on the auxiliary. Try making the auxiliary really boring and quick. Vous êtes arrivé, yeah, it's a push for arrivé, yeah? Vous êtes arrivé à quelle heure?
Vous êtes arrivé à quelle heure?
Good. For me, because it's a vous, and I'm imagining that, I'm imagining plural people. When I hear you say that, I think of 2 people, like you and Derek, that I know well, that I care about. I'm just using vous because it happens to be plural. If I'm picturing somebody formal, yeah? So how, using the other 2 methods, so one with an esque and one with an inversion of sorts, how else would I ask that question? Still with a vous. So how would I get a vous in, how would I get an esque into that question?
What was the sentence again? Sorry.
The basic sentence was, what time did you arrive?
What time did you arrive? Sorry.
You did, vous êtes arrivé à quelle heure?
Okay.
How would you get an esque into that sentence?
So, à quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
Good.
Sorry.
So now
Auxiliary
we've got,
too
no,
heavy.
that's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. So now we've got an interrogative word or phrase like combien, pourquoi. Oh my god, my brain was going donde, porque. I've just taught that in French this afternoon, in Spanish this afternoon to somebody else. Oh my god, I completely forgot I've taught questions this afternoon in a whole other language, you prick, Luke. Anyway, whatever. If you've got an interrogative word like comment, pourquoi, you know, quand, whatever, all of these words, you've got to remember that the esque will move somewhere else. Esque at the beginning, when it's just esque and phrase, is purely for yes, no questions. Est-ce que vous aimez le vin rouge? Yeah, if it's an interrogative, like, why do you like white wine? Red wine exists. Have you never seen it? Christ. Pourquoi est-ce que vous aimez le... So it will go, you know, after my interrogative phrase or phrases. So that's just nice to remember. So good little trick is, if you're using a vous in a formal way, see how much you can ram esque in it. Good. So, say for me, à quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
Get rid of it. I don't mean get, but make it smaller. À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
Good. Push through. À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé? Have interest on the interrogative section. À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
À quelle heure est-ce que vous êtes arrivé?
That was nice. Did you hear that? Quite auxiliary. That was very nice. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right. One can, by definition, say, à quelle heure êtes-vous arrivé? But it's just not something that I would ever particularly enjoy teaching or doing. Yeah. Good. Good, 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 good. All right. So, with tu, Claire, same example. What time did you get here?
À quelle heure est-ce que tu es arrivé?
Tu es arrivé.
Tu es arrivé.
But do we want it? What's our favourite and our first choice for tu? What did I say we don't want?
tu es arrivé. So, tu es
Yeah.
arrivé à quelle heure?
Good. So because you're going with the mod, so if you remember the previous model, we had tone of voice. And what did I tell James? Tone of voice was basically a fucking statement that you then added to tone of, no, Jenna, it was a statement that you then added an up intonation to. So in the same way with an interrogative, we can do most questions with the statement and then the question word on the end. So using tu, so unless I tell you otherwise now, if I ask for a vous, can you go with the est que? And if I ask for a tu, can you go with the minimum, 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 and the question word on the end? Yeah. So yeah. So in other words, if you think about it logically, let's say you had vous for a second, and let's say you've got a question word. So you can either have vous arrivez quand? You are arriving when. So if you have the statement method, the tone, so the equivalent of the tone of voice, you can't just do a tone of voice now because you've obviously got a question word. But the equivalent, in other words, starting with the subject, would go vous arrivez quand, or quand, starting with the question word. We've got quand est-ce que vous arrivez. So we've got a method starting with the question word where we have question word, est-ce que, and then the sentence. Or even with some interrogatives like pourquoi voulez-vous venir? You know, rather than pourquoi est-ce que vous voulez venir? So we've got two methods that start with the question word. So we've got question word, est-ce que, normal sentence structure, question word inversion, or sentence structure, question word on the end. And we're saying for the two, we want to start with the person doing it as much as possible and try and get the question word on the end. All right. So James, no, we're going back the way around, aren't we, Janet? So can I have your go-to preferred choice, please, for when did you meet each other? You and your dealer, Janet, big guy in your life, your dealer. When did you meet each other? When did you meet each other? For vous.
Quand est-ce que vous vous êtes rencontrés?
Gorgeous. Started with the question word. Sorry, I'm in the dark here. Quand est-ce que, which is probably better for all concerned. Quand est-ce que, what a low, what a Sistine Chapel that just revealed. So quand est-ce que vous vous êtes rencontrés? Yeah. Quand est-ce que vous vous êtes rencontrés? Lovely. What would the tu form be? So in other words, I'm speaking to a tu person, but I'm obviously speaking about vous now because I'm talking about, like, say, Claire and Derek or something, you know, or you and your dealer, Janet. So when would I basically say, when did you meet each other?
Tu t'es rencontré quand?
And again?
Tu t'es rencontré quand?
I'm glad that you're spending some personal time with yourself because I think all ladies should.
No.
But the fact is, it's like that scene in Pleasantville when she goes from the black and white to the colour. But basically, I don't want you to spend some time with your private girl yourself. I'm talking to you as a tu, and I want you to use about you and your pal. So I can still use vous when talking to a tu person because I'm obviously talking about two people. And this is a subtle change. When you vous voir somebody formally, you very much have to read in tone of voice whether they mean you or you and the person standing next to you. Yeah, you really, really have to sort of pick up on that socially so that you know whether to say je or nous. That's a real thing to start picking up. So in other words, if I'm asking you, Janet, as somebody who I'd feel comfortable using tu with, how would I say, when did you meet each other? As you said, it was...
Vous vous êtes rencontrés quand?
What? Yeah, that's it. So we're still going with the interrogative word at end. Yeah. Ouais, vous vous êtes rencontrés quand? Toi et Derek, vous vous êtes rencontrés quand? Madame, quand est-ce que vous vous êtes rencontrés? Vous et votre mari? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're picking it up. Good. James, when did you meet Luke? Oh, happy day. When did you meet Luke? Speaking to a vous person.
Quand est-ce que vous rencontrez Luc?
Quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré Luc? And again?
Quand est-ce que vous
Quand
avez,
est-ce que, quand est-ce que, quand est-ce que.
quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré Luc?
And again, question telling us, quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré Luc?
Quand est-ce
Quand est-ce que, quand est-ce que. Quand is spelled Q-U-A-N-D, but when you link it to a vowel, oddly, it sounds not written, not written, not written. It sounds like a T. What is really annoying and confusing is sometimes I'm nice and sometimes I'm a cunt. But what is also, depending on how good your French is, people, but what is also really annoying and confusing is that there is a word in French which is Q-U-A-N-T. So we're not saying that, that's like as for Claire, quant à Claire, quant à moi, but we are saying quand, Q-U-A-N-D, but we're saying it like a T. Yeah, quant, yeah, okay. So, and again, when did you meet Luke?
Quand est-ce que vous rencontrez Luc?
Vous avez, it's in the past.
Quand,
Quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré Luc? Go.
quand est-ce que vous avez rencontré Luc?
Good. Speaking to a two-person. Are we all clear that we call this tutoying? Yeah, we call this tutoying, yeah? We'll talk about that in a second, actually, how you ask to do that and who asks to do it. So that's quite powerfully useful. So could you please say, I mean, most Brits just fucking use to, and French are used to it anyway. So could you please say, when did you meet Luke? If you're speaking to a two-person. And what have we said we want to be starting with? The interrogative or the subject with the twos?
The subject?
Lovely. I love how sure you are because you've obviously been listening intently. So basically, with the twos, we're gonna be starting with the almost like a statement, isn't it? Do you remember the technique? Almost like a statement. You almost say it like a statement. So how would you say that then? When did you meet Luke?
Tu as rencontré Luc quand?
Good. Or even, because we like to double up in French, ouais, tu l'as rencontré quand, Luc? Yeah, tu l'as rencontré quand, Luc? Yeah. Or if you're in Besançon on holiday with me, holiday. Tu l'as rencontré quand, le Luc? Yeah, if, like the equivalent of saying, is he all right, James? Like the equivalent of saying that nobody I know would say our Ben, our Dan, our Joe, those are my brothers. But people do say it, obviously, don't they? And the equivalent in France is le Luc. Elle va bien, la Claire? It's super affectionate. Yeah, not so much in Paris, but in the provinces. Yeah. So, oui, elle va bien, la Claire? She right, Claire? Our girl? You know, it's super affectionate outside of France, outside of Paris. So yeah, so you could double up. So tu l'as rencontré quand, Luc? Tu l'as rencontré quand, Luc? And again, so tu l'as rencontré quand, Luc?
Tu l'as rencontré quand, le Luc?
Oh, we got a bit of local. Good. Lovely. Jenna, how would we say to somebody, they're speaking to you and they're older than you, so it's for them to normally really ask. Often what happens is people mistakenly go to tutor somebody and then apologize afterward for doing it. But what is the way of asking somebody formally, or rather telling? It's more of it's normally the older person does it. So how do you say to somebody that you're converting the conversation from tu to vous? What is the sentence that we say? So first things first, Jenna, what is the verb to call somebody to? What is that verb known as?
Tutoyer.
Tutoyer. Yeah. Like many the YER verbs, we've obviously got versions where we can spell it with the OIE and the YES now because there's been formal changes into spelling. So, for example, any YER verb, so SAE, it's now legally accepted in documentation and the dictionary and, you know, whatever. SAE, ESSAYE, like any ER verb, ASSAYES. It used to be ESSAIE, ASSAIES. It used to change, like nettoyer, SAE. Whatever. Now they accept both. There's some formal spelling changes a couple of years ago. Yeah, so, and what's the verb to use vous with somebody?
Vous voyez.
Lovely. It's rare that you say that as often, though, because obviously you don't normally ask. I mean, you might remind a kid to do it, but, you know, or I'll remind students to do it. Yep, so how would you say to somebody, how would you ask somebody, or if you know that it's okay to do that? What's the way of asking?
Est-ce que nous pouvons vous voyez?
You have to vous voyez somebody. It needs somebody. You need to be vous voying somebody. Est-ce que nous pouvons...
Vous voyez? Sorry, nous vous voyez?
Would you be asking to go into vous, though? Or would you not be asking to go the other way around?
Oh,
People
yeah.
start in vous and then they drop to tu, don't they? So how would you ask that?
Thank you for clarifying that. So, est-ce que nous pouvons tutoyer?
Thank you for what did you say?
Clearing that up.
Do you see what I mean? The logic is we start formal and we drop down, yeah? So say it again, what you just said.
Est-ce que nous pouvons tutoyer?
I've just told you we need to be tutoying somebody. So we need an object there. So est-ce que nous pouvons...
Nous?
Good, and that's quite heavy, so we don't tend to say that. But what you have done that is good is you've avoided saying est-ce que je peux te tutoyer? Because you've already tutored the person when you say that.
That's good.
Yeah, weirdly, it's just slightly less done. So what the most common one of saying is on peut se tutoyer? Or on se tutoie? Yeah, on se tutoie. James, how often does that happen to you on a weekly basis where you just use to with somebody automatically?
All the time.
Yeah, so just say on peut se tutoyer. C'est on peut se tutoyer.
Sorry,
Yeah.
on
Peut, we can tutoie each other. We're using the reflexive of se. Say on peut se tutoyer.
On peut se tutoyer.
On se tutoie, on se tutoie.
On se tutoie. On se
Just say that for me. Claire, say on se tutoie. No, say them both. On peut se tutoyer, on se tutoie.
On peut se tutoyer.
Yeah.
On se tutoie.
Good. Janet?
On peut se tutoyer, on peut se tutoie. No, on se tutoie.
And again, give me them back.
On peut se tutoyer, on peut tutoie. No, on peut se tutoie. No!
Fish, pants, bananas, hangover, whatever. On se tutoie. On se tutoie.
On se tutoie.
On se tutoie.
On se tutoie.
Good, lovely. Jenna, on peut se tutoyer, on se tutoie.
On peut se tutoyer? On se tutoie?
Good, okay. If you're a kid under 18, nobody should be asking any adult to I just don't like it. Let them do it. Let them come to you with it. If you're over 18, I sort of feel, particularly if you're obviously not French native, it's nice. It's fine. It's considered. Remember, there are two politics to it involved, though. Sometimes the use of tu is seen as a drop down, and sometimes it is used as a gaining in affection. It can go both ways. If you're going to insult someone, va te faire foutre, espèce de connard. The tu could be seen as, I mean, whilst you can absolutely curse and swear at a vous, of course you can. Allez vous faire foutre, allez vous en. Weirdly, obviously, insults drop to tu because you drop the respect. So sometimes the tu, and sometimes the vous is distancing and cold, and sometimes it's respectful. So there are tones to it. Good. So on peut se tutoyer. Good. Lovely. Lovely. Right. Let's move on with some other questions. So, James, I'd like you to ask me any random question. Just interview Luke. Ask me in English without thinking about it in French. Any random question. What don't you know about Luke? Ask a question. What do you know? What don't you know? Just ask. Let's go through some questions.
Combien d'âge as-tu?
I'm going to need a stiff drink. Where's my... Say for me, tu as quel âge?
Tu as quel âge?
And I say, vous avez quel âge?
Vous avez quel âge?
Notice we don't use an esque with that one. Yeah, because it's yeah. So say for me, tu as quel âge?
Tu as quel âge?
What could we do to spice that up a little bit in a two-way? We could do the slang of tu and a and tu and a. So say for me, t'as quel âge toi? T'as quel âge?
T'as quel âge?
T'as quel âge? Yeah. Yeah. So monsieur, vous avez quel âge? Don't forget monsieur, madame, if you want to make it formal. Monsieur, vous avez quel âge?
Monsieur, vous avez quel âge?
We could say, monsieur, je peux vous demander votre date de naissance? Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance? Lipsford, je peux vous demander votre date de naissance?
Je peux vous...
Nobody said vous. Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance.
Je peux vous demander votre...
date de naissance.
Date de naissance.
And again, all smoothly joined, not two halves. Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance?
Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance.
Good. With that, we just had to split into three-quarter line rather than in the middle. Off you go. Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance?
Je peux vous demander votre date de naissance.
Good. Fine. Vous êtes né quand? Whatever. You know. Okay. I wasn't born. I was made in a lab 1,000 years ago. So, yeah. Good. Lovely. Good. So we're all clear on that one. Lovely. Claire, a question you would ask Luke? Anything at all? Personal data, preferences, history, anything at all. Just let's go round and round and round. We're going to do two in a row. Any question?
Oh God. Tu aimes les cochons d'Inde?
Ask in English. Yeah. So what I mean is ask in English so that you don't give it a tone. Yeah. So just literally
Okay.
every option. Yeah. So off you go.
Do you like guinea pigs?
Yes, because the colouring that your ones have got. I'm going to sound like Cruella de Vil here. I think they'd make the best coat. Obviously not. But they look like a cool coat. They remind me of horses' colours and piebalds and things like this. Good. So lovely. So do you like? Lovely. So let's have two alternatives. So Sophie, tu les aimes les cochons d'Inde? Tu les aimes? So remember this trick. So what are we calling this? We're calling this the pronoun and the noun trick. Pronoun and noun it. Tu les aimes les cochons d'Inde? Say that.
Tu les aimes les cochons d'Inde?
Lovely. Okay. Good. Give me the full version. Est-ce que vous aimez les cochons d'Inde, monsieur? Est-ce que vous aimez les cochons d'Inde?
Est-ce que vous aimez les cochons d'Inde?
Okay. Lovely. Slang around it. Alors, moi, je suis très cochon d'Inde. I'm very guinea pig me. If you want to say you're really into something in French, just say I'm very, and then that word. Oh, Luke, he's really into gardening. Oh, Luke, il est très jardin. Oh, Luke, il est très clair, elle est très claquette. She's really into tap. You know, whatever. That's a really good way of doing it. Oh, non, Luke, il est très, très, très jardin, Luke. Il adore les jardins. That's a really easy way of doing it. Tu les aimes ou pas? Save me. Tu les aimes ou pas, les cochons d'Inde? Tu les aimes ou pas, les cochons d'Inde?
Tu les aimes ou pas, les cochons d'Inde?
Good. At Sam's mom's funeral the other day, I saw one of her cousins. I haven't seen this person for about 15 years. À l'enterrement de la mère de Sam, l'autre jour, j'ai vu une de ses cousines. Alors, la dernière fois que j'ai vu cette fille, c'était il y a 15 ans. And she had an obsession, and I mean an obsession for Cliff Richard. So, who's like a pop star from the 60s and 70s and 80s in England, Jenna. And basically, she had to go to art college. And they just kept telling her off for always drawing Cliff Richard. Alors, effectivement, elle s'est fait disputer parce qu'elle n'arrêtait pas de dessiner Cliff Richard. And they gave her this like exam. And the exam was you were given like a tube or like a toilet roll holder. And it was like you had to look down the toilet roll. And it was like you had to draw what you could see. So it's like the perspective of looking down a toilet roll and out of the room. And she fucking drew Cliff Richard. And they were like, what? And she was trying to argue, when I look down it, I see Cliff Richard. And they were just like, get help. Get help. Seriously. Oh, dear. Lovely. Janet, ask Luke a question. Any freaking question in English. Don't, just literally keep going. Fire the questions away. Anything at all.
What is your greatest regret?
Oh, good God.
You did say anything.
It is. It's a gorgeous question. Lovely. So let's learn. And I don't mean you need to be careful with me. You can ask me anything. You know how I roll. God, I'm really tied between three. I really am. I'm going to refine it down to two. It'd be Phil stuff. It would be trusting someone on Phil stuff rather than, I was going to say Cipro, but no, the Phil stuff beats it. That's my biggest regret. Trusting somebody that then messed all of that up. That will haunt me forever. But yeah, so so surround your questions with stuff. So, for example, say to me, Monsieur, si c'est pas une question trop impertinente. Monsieur, si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Monsieur, si c'est pas une question.
Look at Lukey. Yeah. In your class, we're getting you faster. Your listening is getting better because I'm not going to give you the teeth. You then need to recreate what you are hearing without teeth. So you're hearing it without teeth. You can't then play it back to me with teeth. You won't be able to play it. You can't play a cello on a recorder. You can't play a recorder on a violin. You can't play a tambourine on a, a human voice. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to play it back with the same instrument that you're hearing it with. Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente, go on.
Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Trop impertinente, we're doing the length.
Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Good, can you hear that from all of you?
Impertinent.
Jenna, if it's not too impertinent to question, si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
I don't want it in 4 sections. Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Si c'est pas une question trop impertinente.
Good, Jamesy.
Si c'est pas une question trop pertinente.
Good lad, good boy. Trop impertinente.
Trop impertinent.
Yeah, okay, good. Lovely. The other way round, you could say, oh, dis donc, quelle question. Let's go around this circle the way around. Jay said, oh, good gracious me, what a question. Say, oh, dis donc, quelle question.
Dis donc, quelle question.
Dis donc is like goodness me. Older ladies.
Quelle question.
Dis donc.
Dis donc.
DISDONC. But it's just, oh, good grief. Oh, dis donc. Younger people say, oh, putain, bordel. Yeah, but it's just a nice older way of swearing, but without swearing, just making a exclamatory remark. Older ladies used to say, oh, ma foi. She's like, my faith. Yeah. Yeah. Not mon foi, which would be my liver, which is what Claire and I would say. Lovely. Oh, ma foi. Lovely. So, dis donc. Lovely. James, say for me, I'm happy, not necessarily with this question, but how do you say, I'm happy you've asked me that question?
Je suis content que...
Before you so much as move your pretty little foot, what is I am happy? It is a for me, an elusive state since fucking April. But what else is it? It is an
imperative.
An
emotion.
Thank you. And what follows the emotion if you then get moving into somebody else doing the sentence?
Subjunctive.
Lovely. Just remember that. I am happy that you asked me this question.
Je suis content que vous me...
Vous, subjunctive on the have. Vous m'ayez.
Vous m'ayez the demande. Vous m'ayez demande.
So, no, you don't demand une question. You put. What verb do we use to ask the question? Monsieur, j'aimerais vous put. What verb do we use to ask a question? Beginning with a P. Is it A, penis, B, pen Halligan, C, penny whistle, or D, posé?
Posé.
Fucking get your shit together. Off you go. Je suis content que vous m'ayez posé une question. Go on.
Je suis content que vous m'ayez posé une question.
Cette question.
Cette question.
Good, Janet, you'll go. Je suis content que vous m'ayez posé cette question. Ou je suis contente.
Sorry, was it Jenna or Janet?
Jenna.
Je suis content que tu m'aies posé.
No, it's a bleeding listen. I've just had Jamesy say it 4 or 5 times. So if we're involved in the sentence, we know what's going on. Je suis content que vous m'ayez posé cette question. Go on.
Je suis contente que vous m'ayez posé cette question.
Janet.
Je suis content que vous m'ayez posé cette question.
Claire, I'm happy you've asked me this question.
Je suis contente que vous m'ayez posé cette question.
Good. Lovely. Going round. James, ask me another question. No, which way are we going around? James in the corner, then we'll go to Jenna. James, token question.
In English?
Yes. God, you bitches don't like listening. Off you go.
What's your favorite thing to do in the evening?
Lovely. Okay, so which do you want to do, the vous thing first or the tu thing first?
Vous.
Good. So what did we say we were trying to favour with vous? We were trying to favour inversions and esca-kescas, weren't we? Yeah. So using an esca or a kesca, how do you say what's your favourite thing to do?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Pause. Now you make a valid point. Your favorite thing is a noun. Your favorite thing is a noun. So you're not going to use qu'est-ce with a noun. So you could say qu'est-ce que c'est votre chose préférée, but it just won't be so super French. So say for me, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire? Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire?
Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait? Ou vous...
Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire?
Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire?
I'm not going to say it in un-French so that the un-French speakers can speak it in un-French. I shall say it in French and you learn to listen to French. Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire? Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire? Go on.
Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire?
Good. I don't need to un-French say it with an open mouth for you then to try and learn to say it in French. No. Say for me, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire le soir?
Qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire le soir?
Good. Say for me the tu version. Slang it up a little bit.
Qu'est-ce que tu aimes
No,
faire?
do we have a job? No, do you fucking listen? Do I want Esther and Kesper and twos? Do I?
No.
Huh? So how did I say I wanted you to start the two questions? What did I say I wanted you to start with?
Like quand or
No, you don't
using
fucking...
the...
No, the exact opposite of that. What did I ask you to start the twos with?
I can't remember.
Was it A, punch James for not fucking listening? Was it B, kick James for not fucking listening? Or was it C, the subject as if it was a statement?
The subject, as if it was a statement.
Good, but A and B are preferable. So off you go. What do you like to do the evening?
Tu aimes...
Thank you. Now, having now started with tu aimes, we cannot use our little friend qu'est-ce que, can we? So what word are we going to use for what if we started with the verb already? Tu aimes faire
quoi?
Thank you. So t'aimes faire quoi le soir? So t'aimes faire quoi le soir?
T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
Good. So we're getting these patterns if we're using what with a... Well, what is its own little thing? Let's just quickly talk about what. What has three options. So, tu fais quoi? Que fais-tu? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? So you can use qu'est-ce que. So after QUE, which means what, like in Spanish, K, people forget that, but QUE on its own also means what in French. Yes, I know it means than. Yes, I know it means all kinds of other shit, but it also means what. So after que, you always have to have an inversion. What do you need after que, James?
Inversion.
Good. So qu'est-ce que is itself an inversion. It is ce est reversed. Yeah. So qu'est-ce que. What else must you always have after qu'est-ce que, James?
Subject.
Doing what?
An inversion.
No, you've done the inversion. Qu'est-ce que is including the inversion. What always comes after qu'est-ce que? Say qu'est-ce que and let your mouth carry on. What comes out?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Good. What was say? It was a subject and then a verb. Give me another one. How do you say what you eat?
What do you eat?
What do you eat? Just say for you, what do you eat?
Qu'est-ce que tu manges?
Good. So nice accent. Good lad. So what do we have after qu'est-ce que, people? Always a subject doing a verb. And if we really wanted to make Lukey happy with stiff nipples, it would be a verb which is a green verb. A green verb. Yeah. Because we're not going to say qu'est-ce que, are we? We'll talk about briefly. We'll talk about briefly. Sorry, word order. We'll briefly talk about this in a minute when we have a little reminder of red, blue, and green. Because we can't use qu'est-ce que for red and blue sentences, can we? As we'll talk about in just a second. Lovely. So say for me, t'aimes faire quoi le soir? Say t'aimes faire quoi le soir?
T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
Good. Jenna, say for me, what do you like to do in the evening? T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
Good. Nice and soft. Well done. Janet?
T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
Good. Claire?
T'aimes faire quoi le soir?
Good. Lovely. So, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire le soir? Ou t'aimes faire quoi le soir? Good. Jenna, token question, any fucking question to Luke, don't care.
How did you get into gardening?
Good question. So when did you start being interested in gardening? Let's just do it for a bit of grammar. When did you start being interested in gardening?
Quand?
So let's go with the VOUS. So what do we want to include in the, let's remember our patterns, people. What do we want to include with the VOUS? We want to be including what in the VOUS question? We want to be including the...
Est-ce que?
Good. So interrogative, est-ce que, subject. Yeah. So when is it that? So quand
Quand est-ce que vous êtes...
I'm saying saying when did you get interested in quand est-ce que vous vous êtes intéressé? When did you start? So quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à? Just say that far.
Quand est-ce que vous avez...
No, there's no vous. Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé?
Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé
À. Now we need the reflexive verb s'intéresser au jardinage, but make it work for a vous. So what's the vous version going to be of s'intéresser? So quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à
vous intéressez
au jardinage? Au jardinage. Because it's an ABC verb. Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à vous intéresser au jardinage? That's the vous version I would give. Say for me, quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à vous intéresser au jardinage?
Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à vous intéresser à
au jardinage? Yeah. And again, be careful to always swap your reflexive. Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à vous intéresser au jardinage?
Quand est-ce que vous avez commencé à vous intéresser au jardinage?
Good. The to version, am I currently still interested in gardening?
Oui.
Yeah. Despite the nihilism of the last 6 months and missing someone fucking desperately and hating my Cipro body, I do still love my fucking garden. Claire and Derek will see it soon when it's out in bloom. So basically, if I still love it, what tense do I like to use in French if it's something I still like?
Present.
So, tu t'intéresses au jardin depuis quand? Yeah, go with the tu version. Ouais, mais tu t'intéresses au jardin depuis quand?
Tu t'intéresses
au jardin depuis quand?
Au jardin depuis quand?
No, pause. Tu t'intéresses au jardin depuis quand?
Tu t'intéresses au jardin depuis quand?
Yeah, lovely. Or give me even more slang. T'as été très jardin depuis quand? Oh, no, give me. Ça fait longtemps que t'es très jardin? Ça fait longtemps que t'es très jardin? C'est là?
Ça fait longtemps que t'es très jardin?
Lovely copying, nice accent. Well done. Yeah, all right. So we'll be getting the patterns. Yeah, good. Depuis toujours. Where even when I was 2 and 3, every week that I used to go to ballet on a Saturday and tap, and then I'd go to my Auntie Liz's and watch Superman 1 and Superman 2 every single week from the beginning, drinking through a metal spoon straw while she shagged her boyfriend at the time. The first one I recall was Steve, who curiously looked like the mute guy in Superman 1 and Superman 2, which is very distracting for us as children. That we were like, oh, there's the one that fighting the General Zod, and there's Auntie Liz banging him. And she used to go, you've got your milkshakes, you've got the television, oh, right. And she'd then go off and do the deed and think that we didn't know. Yeah, Steve and I are just going to go and do some decorating. Yeah, so tu t'intéresses yeah, so yeah, so and then but on a Sunday we always used to go to my grandma, like, yeah, just whenever we used to spend any time with my grandpa, he'd just like divide the garden up and we'd have like little, right, Luke, this is your bit. Today we're going to learn how to plant a rose. Today we're going to learn how to prune a so and so. We had like lessons, like little lessons, like it was really cool. How to get a hedge going, how to do this, how far away from the house to plant, soil pH. Honest to God, we did everything. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. And then my brother stopped giving a fuck and I fucking loved it. So good. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then I stopped being able to horse ride and sing and do anything else. So I thought, well, let's just focus on the gardening, really. So it's a bit of a fucking thing. Good. Lovely. Janet, random question. Any question? No, do you know what I'm doing? I'm just going to put a couple of imposed ones in. Could you ask me, Janet, how long have you lived in London? How long have you lived in London? Let's just make sure this question's safe. How long have you lived in London?
Tu habites à Londres depuis quand?
Good. Or its sister, what's the alternative?
Combien de temps?
No. Which comes first?
Oh,
Have you got it?
ça fait combien de temps que tu habites à Londres?
Good. So we've either got ça fait combien de temps que. We obviously need a que because we're about to bring in a subject. Present tense, tu habites à Londres, or tu habites à Londres depuis quand? At the risk of being patronizing, but I remember the shitstorm that we had to get avant que and après que into your. So basically, C comes before D. So ça fait goes before the verb and depuis goes after the verb. So I don't smoke, but imagine I smoked, Claire. Could you ask me how long I've smoked for using both of those methods?
Ça fait combien de temps que
Yep.
tu as fumé?
Do I in this hypothetical situation, in both of these sentences, what tense is the smoking in? If I'm still smoking, it'll be in what tense?
Oh, present, sorry.
That's it. Yeah.
Ça fait combien de temps que tu fumes?
Good. Or with the other method, tu fumes.
Tu fumes depuis quand?
Yes, that is correct as well. Or depuis combien de?
Depuis combien de temps?
That's it. Ça fait can be a question, an answer, and an independent statement. So if you say, how long have you known Derek, Luke? Ça fait combien de temps que tu connais Derek? It could be an answer. I've known Derek for whatever. Well, years ago, but probably 18 months, whatever. Ça fait 18 mois, perhaps even less. Ça fait 18 mois que je connais Derek. That's a statement. Or that could be an answer. Oh, ça fait 18 mois que je connais Derek. So ça fait can be a statement, a question, a response. It's lovely. Good. Lovely. Claire, your forced question, if you don't mind. How long does it take you in the shower? How long does it take you in the shower?
Ça fait combien de temps?
That would suggest I'm still in the shower in Besançon, and you're like, Luke, curly hair doesn't happen automatically. Need some bathroom time. How long have you been in the shower? Christ. That is how long have you been in the shower, that you are still currently engaged in the activity of being in the shower. Could you ask me when I'm not in the shower, how long do you take in the shower? Could we be sat at a dinner table and you go, Luke, how long does it take you to get ready in the morning? Is it possible that you could ask me that without me actually getting ready?
You see what?
God. Listen to me. When you say ça fait combien de temps, you're asking someone about something they still do. It's like, how long is it that you've been doing this? And if you say to somebody, how long does the train take between whatever, Winchester and London? Are you currently on the train between Winchester and London?
No.
As I'm speaking to you now, are you?
No.
No. So I can't be using ça fait. Ça fait would be like, how long have you been on the train? Fucking hell. Ça fait combien de temps que tu prends le train? Or how many years have you been taking the same train? It's not an activity that's ongoing. If you are saying to somebody how long something takes, you are asking them how long they need. Claire, will you please say for me, I need a coffee?
Il me faut un café.
Gorgeous. So for nouns, we use il me faut. So would you now swap un café for combien de temps? Say for me, Luke, how long does it take you? Il
te faut combien de temps?
See the difference? That is about how long something takes. That could go into the past tense. Say, how long did it take you? Stick il te faut into the past tense with the auxiliary. Say, how long did it take you?
Oh my gosh. Fallu,
because it's not in the imperfect, it's in the passive composer, yeah?
Il t'a fallu longtemps.
Yes, that's the question. Did it take you a long time? It took you a long time. Il t'a fallu longtemps. But we're saying il t'a fallu combien de temps? How much time? Yeah. So say for me, il t'a fallu combien?
Il t'a fallu combien de temps?
Good. I know all of you go when you hear French rather than un-French, yeah, or non-French. But the more you hear French rather than un-French, I like to call it un-French. Then basically you just get used to copying it. So, and again, il te faut combien de temps?
Il te faut combien de temps?
Lovely, Claire. Fucking brilliant. All right, good. So we have to just check those two. Another quick clinical check, and then we can go back to some fun questions. Claire, I know you've got to go too, so just in 2 minutes, by all means, check the little doodah whenever you, check the last half an hour when you check back. Everybody give Claire a pre-wave. Give Claire a pre-wave. Give her a pre-wave.
Hi, everyone. It doesn't work. Sorry.
So, James, what defines a red verb? What defines a green verb? And what defines a blue verb? Here's your hint, 15 sentences of power. Here's your hint, I know where you live and own power tools.
Is it direct, indirect, and what's the other one?
What was your green sentence? The 15 sentences of power. Je mange le
gâteau.
Good. What was your red sentence? Je parle. What was your red sentence?
Je parle.
Epic fail. Jenna, do we know the 15 sentences of power? What's my red sentence? Je parle.
Je parle de quelque chose.
Yeah. Je parle. Yeah, but what's the one that we practice with? Je parle de la
situation.
Good. And what's my blue token question? What's my blue token sentence? So what makes the blue? What makes the blue? What makes the blue? Good.
It comes.
So,
I'm sorry.
Danny, what's the blue? What's the blue?
Je pense à la situation.
Good. So what's the green, Janet?
Je mange le gâteau.
So how would you say, what am I eating?
Qu'est-ce que je mange?
Good. Or je mange quoi? Or que mange? Pardon me, my mouthful. James, je parle de la situation. How would you say to me, what am I talking about?
Qu'est-ce que...
Oh, can you use green on red verbs? That's my point. Yes or no?
No.
You can't use any. Here are the green sentences. Je mange le gâteau, je le mange, le gâteau que je mange. Qu'est-ce que je mange? Luc sait ce que je mange. You cannot, unless your verb is simple green. That means it goes straight across, no de, no a. If you've got a green, you can use le l'aller, you can use que, you can use ce que, and you can use qu'est-ce que. You can use none of those things if you've got a red or a blue. None of that grammar, none of it. Your equivalent of le l'aller will be on and e. Your equivalent of que will be dans or auquel, à laquelle, auquel, auquel, auquel. Your equivalent of ce que will be ce dont and ce à quoi. Your equivalent of qu'est-ce que you're about to tell me. So, if the sentence is tu parles de la situation, what's the question, James? What are you talking about? Tu parles
de quoi?
Good. You have to use the interrogative quoi. Tu parles de quoi? So therefore, Jenna, if the sentence is you are thinking about the situation, tu penses à la situation. What's the question? What are you thinking about? James,
Luke,
just give me yours again, James. What are you talking about? Tu parles, give me your question. Tu parles
de quoi?
Good. So we had de. We can't use qu'est-ce que because we are the red. So tu parles de quoi? What are you thinking about going to be? Tu penses, we're in the blue, Jenna. Tu penses?
Tu penses à quoi?
Thank you. We cannot use qu'est-ce que. What are you thinking about? Qu'est-ce que tu? No. You can say qu'est-ce que tu penses, but what are you thinking? But the minute you need to use penser à, you cannot use qu'est-ce que for a blue or a red. Is that clear, people? Yeah?
Oui.
So if you were good and you cared about your French, you would say je mange le gâteau, je le mange, le gâteau que je mange. Qu'est-ce que je mange? Luc sait ce que je mange. Je parle de la situation, j'en parle. La situation dont je parle. Je parle de quoi? Luc sait ce dont je parle. Je pense à la situation, j'y pense. La situation à laquelle je pense à quoi? Luc sait ce à quoi je pense. You'd have those 15 down and you'd be safe. Most of the ABCs are blue and red. James, what's the verb to remember?
Souviens.
Give me the infinitive, please.
Souvenir.
It's an ABC. I've just told you.
Sorry, to remember.
Yep, it's an ABC. What is an ABC, James? The irony of asking you to remember the verb to remember is not fucking lost on any of us. Let me tell you.
I don't know what an ABC is.
I know runts of the litter with 6 hours of brain damage. You've got better memory. What is the... It is an ABC is a reflexive verb with a... Janet, what is an ABC? A reflexive verb with a...
Dick.
With a dick. An ABC is a reflexive verb with a dick. On the left, you've got the reflexive. On the right, you've got an at or a duh. We call it a dick so people don't forget. Didn't know, James. So, Jeff, will you please give me an ABC verb of your choice? An ABC verb of your choice, my love.
S'intéresser à.
Good, we had it earlier. Lovely. So is that red or blue? If it ends in, if it's got an at in it, is it a red or a blue?
It's the blue one.
Good. So what was our question format? You had it. It was your question. So how would you say, what are you interested in? We can't use qu'est-ce que, can we? Because it's green. James did the red. I mean, I doubt he'll remember, but he did. And you did the blue. You did the blue. So what would the question be? What are you interested in?
À quoi tu t'intéresses?
Yeah, or more commonly, tu t'intéresses à.
Tu t'intéresses à quoi?
Great. See how it works? James, what was the ABC? That'll mean reflexive on one side, at or de on the other side. What's the verb to look after?
Soin. S'occuper.
What do I want? An ABC. I need you to work. I want a reflexive verb with something after it. Come on. I don't just come on. I'm after something. Jen has just done one for you. We've just explained it. It's got the reflexive, and on the other side, it's got a preposition. So don't just go s'occuper and sit there in your shit in your diaper. What is it? S'occuper what? What word comes after? Thank you. Fucking pull your finger out your ass. Off you go. So what's the verb to look after? It is?
S'occuper de.
Good. The fact that it's a de, my love, is that a red or a blue?
Red.
So how would you say to somebody, what are you looking after? You did that question earlier. Yeah, we can't use qu'est-ce que.
Tu t'occuper de.
Conjugate the verb. But yes, that's the idea. Conjugate the verb. Tu
t'occuper.
Conjugate the verb. Conjugate the verb. Go present tense.
Okay.
James, thank you. Off you go. So carry on. So you're looking after what? Tu
t'occupes de quoi?
Good. So me at human speed.
Tu t'occupes de quoi?
Good. All right. So have we had a little reminder on how to do reds? That's just if I'm teaching questions as a theme. I'm being a bit old school teacher with a theme rather than let's just translate whatever we come up with. Then I would have to remind you how to do that. So 2 big things to remember in your questioning is number 1, don't fuck up il faut versus ça fait. Yeah. Number 2 would be don't fuck up reds and blues. I think that's really important. Qu'est-ce que, fine, but à quoi, de quoi. Yeah. Good. Lovely. Back to normal random bullshit questions. James, ask me any fucking question about anything in life.
What are you eating right now?
Janet knows because she came with me to the shop. Lovely. I don't know new chips, but I really just felt like a chicken kebab sheesh thing, some side salad and some chips. And they're lovely. Up you go. What are you eating now? Give me the tu version, give me the vous version.
Tu manges quoi maintenant?
Good boy. We've learned that we start a tu question more commonly with the subject. Tu manges quoi maintenant? Lovely. What do I want to start the vous question with? The question word. So what's that going to be?
Qu'est-ce que vous mangez maintenant?
Which we are at liberty to do because manger is a green verb. Notice some verbs can be different colours. Parler, you know, could be green. So tu parles la langue française. You speak French. That's green. Tu parles de quelque chose. That would be red. You know, parler à quelqu'un, like to speak to somebody, would be like a blue arrangement. You know, so you know, penser. Qu'est-ce que tu penses? Qu'est-ce que tu en penses? Est-ce que tu y penses? Are you thinking of it? That's another one that can be red, blue, and green. You know, not all verbs are just the one. All right. Good. So say to me, qu'est-ce que vous mangez maintenant?
Qu'est-ce que vous mangez maintenant?
Good. A little bit of a push-up. Sophie, qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger là? Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger là?
Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger?
Là. There. En train de manger là. Nice mouth closed. Go again. The mouth is nice and closed. Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger là?
Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de
No.
manger?
Lovely speed. Don't slow it down. Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger là?
Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de manger là?
Good. Lovely. Des frites. Yeah. Good. Lovely. I'll have whole weeks where I'll try not to do seed oils, but like, fuck it, I just want some chips. Lovely. Jenna, ask question. Random ask question.
Oh, something about the kebab. So, do you prefer French or kebab or British kebab?
Translate for me. When it comes to the meat, it's the same. It's the chips that are different. Save me, or it's the fries that are different. When it comes to the meat, it's the same. It's the fries that are different. Well, pardon me. Let's just do our first then. So, if we're being a bit more formal, so say to me, which do you prefer, French or?
Qu'est-ce que vous préférez?
Mark, it's fine to do that if you then do a pause. It's fine to do that if you then do a pause. Yep. Yep.
Le kebab français ou anglais?
That's fine. So, qu'est-ce que vous préférez? Qu'est-ce que vous préférez? Les kebabs français ou les kebabs britanniques anglais? Good. Or what would the two version be?
Préfère quoi?
Préfère lequel?
Ah oui. Tu préfères lesquels?
Good. Most people, when they ask two questions, get a real rush of, oh God, yeah, that feels really French. Yeah, most people who've heard a bit of French, but maybe haven't mastered the language, but have heard enough. When you do the two version my way, they go, oh yeah, I've heard that. I wouldn't have come up with it, but I do hear it. Yes, ça means tu préfères lequel?
Tu préfères lesquels?
Good, that was said in French, not in un-French. Lovely. Sophie, when it comes to the meat.
Oh God.
Use that in 2000 years. Quand il s'agit de la viande.
Quand il s'agit de la viande.
Yeah, or en tout ce qui concerne la viande, or pour la viande. Sophie, I don't mind. How do you say I don't mind?
Je m'en fiche, non?
Or ça m'est égal.
Oh, ça m'est égal, oui.
Bit of grammar with ça m'est égal. It's indirect. I repeat, it's indirect. James, say for me, I don't mind. Say ça m'est égal.
Ça m'est égal.
It's indirect. Say he doesn't mind.
Lui.
Stand still. In the word ça m'est égal, ça m'est égal, ça m'est égal,
Ouais.
which single word is going to change from I don't mind to he doesn't mind? In the phrase, James, ça m'est égal, which word's going to change for the he doesn't mind? Thank you. I told you it's indirect. And something non-shittious came out of your mouth. So what's it going to be for the indirect for the he?
Ça lui
est
égal. Ça lui est égal.
Janet, they don't mind.
Ça leur est égal.
They didn't mind in the past.
Ça leur...
What?
Ça leur était pas égal? Ça leur était pas égal?
Yeah. But as Janet says, in a slightly less, bothered way, je m'en fiche, je m'en tape, je m'en fous. Yep, ça me dérange pas. Peu importe. Right. Storm, I'm going to say some words. You're all going to speak back to me in French and French. You're all going to say at the same time. Ready? Quoi que ce soit. Quoi que ce soit.
Quoi que ce soit.
Good. Peu importe.
Peu importe.
Peu importe.
Sorry.
Yeah. That noise alone will communicate. Come. Mm-hmm. But je sais pas. I don't like bar so much. People do ben, je sais pas. Yeah. Okay. Ouais, ça m'est égal.
Ça m'est
Ça m'est égal.
Real, I don't care. I'm this close to sliding it across the table back at you. J'ai rien à foutre. Say j'ai rien à foutre.
J'ai rien à foutre.
James, that was nice copying of French, not un-French. Good boy. Good. So quand il s'agit de l'avion, say to me, I love the oil, Jenna, say, I love the oil they use in France. Just something about the sunflower oil that they do in France that makes nice chips. But I prefer the potatoes in the UK. England is very good potatoes. Say for me, I prefer the oil in France, but I prefer the potatoes in the UK.
Je préfère de l'huile en France, mais
Pause. I'm liking that you're nervous. Don't say the or he'll go mad. But you are allowed to say the here because it is the oil in France. So it is specific on this occasion. So you're allowed to say the. So je préfère l'huile en France.
je préfère l'huile en France, mais
The potatoes are better in England.
les pommes de terre sont meilleures en Angleterre.
Good. What word do we use for potatoes more commonly than pomme de terre?
Les frites? I mean,
Les patates.
oui, les patates.
No? Les patates. Good. In any context, les patates, way more common than pomme de terre. You'll see pomme de terre written in supermarkets, but les patates. Sweet potato, for those that care, is patate douce. Patate douce. Good. Janet, any question in English?
What kind of red wine do you prefer?
Rioja, Malbec. Next question. No. It's my biggest shame that it used to be my biggest shame that my favorite red wine wasn't French, but it's gone back to being French. Okay, so say for me, what kind of wine do you prefer?
Quel type? Okay, no. Tu préfères quel type du vin rouge?
No, there are different words for type, like sort, type, genre, whatever.
Okay.
When it comes to wine beginning with an A, what's a big word that we use for where the wine's from? What's written on the side?
Appellation?
James, appellation. Yeah. Okay. So but to be brutally honest with you, let me teach you I'm really glad you've asked this question, actually. This is a really fucking good format. Qu'est-ce que vous aimez comme vin? So what is it that you and the verb, comme and then the noun? Qu'est-ce que verb, comme and the noun. So if I said, what flavors have you got? So, qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum? Just say that for me. Say that for me in French. Qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum?
Qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum?
Good. Parfum is not just perfume. Yeah, not just perfume. I'm almost out of my Acqua di Gio. And lovely Linda gifted me the money to buy some of the new type, which I'm very excited about. The Profondo one. So, I might get that in time for my birthday, actually. So, yeah, so it's not just parfum, like as in, yeah. So, certainly, qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum? Monsieur, qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum? What flavors have you got?
Monsieur, qu'est-ce que vous avez comme parfum?
Say to me on the same thing. What do you do for work? So remember, qu'est-ce que, then the verb, then the comme, then the noun. So what do you do for work?
Qu'est-ce que vous faites comme travail?
Gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. What wine do you prefer? Qu'est-ce que? You know the format.
Qu'est-ce que tu préfères comme appellation du vin?
Yeah, qu'est-ce que tu préfères comme vin? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Qu'est-ce que tu préfères?
En vin, t'aimes quoi? In wine, en vin, like in the world of en vin.
En vin, t'aimes quoi? Okay.
I know this sounds really dumb, but even in France, we'll often be like, t'es plutôt rouge, plutôt blanc. You don't hear the word vin half as much as you think. Yeah. Voilà. Du rouge, Luc? You just arrived. Du rouge, du blanc? Nobody that knows me would say du blanc. Champagne. Yes. I hate white wine. A friend of mine that I used to teach a company called Cafe Pod. The European Union banned the monopoly from Nespresso machine, so that other companies could make their capsules. Alors effectivement, il y a plusieurs années, effectivement, l'Union européenne a interdit le monopole qu'ils avaient en place à l'époque. Donc d'autres sociétés avaient le droit de produire leurs capsules. And so I used to teach this company called Cafe Pod with my lovely friends Roland and Lee. But then they fell out, and that was really fucking sucky. Mais ensuite, ils se sont disputés, donc ça craint, or ça craignait. But we won't use it so much as an expression. It's more ça craint. The imperfect of to fear is craindre, craigner, but it's less common as it. That sucked. We wouldn't say ça craignait as much as ça craint. Yeah, and Lee the one day had at Chelsea Harbour had a wine tasting free ticket, and I always used to get migraines of any Burgundy, Bourgogne, and white wine, and anything else I was fine with. And it was the theme of the evening was Burgundies and white wine. I was like, yeah. So I love a Malbec. I love I did like Rioja, but like like reserve rather than Tempranillo kind of stuff, like a nice one. Yeah. But I don't know, as I've gotten older, my mouth's changed. Yeah, definitely. Like I used to hate Cabernet Sauvignon, but that's not. I can find that quite drinkable now. Yeah. But then when I was in my 20s, I absolutely loved anything South African. And I've never, and there's absolutely no racism intended in this. God, not at all. But I just don't personally tend to find Latin skin types cute. I always prefer the pastier someone is, the hotter I find them. I know that's really weird. I really do. I think it's in my mind, if they're slightly darker, I'm like, and I think they look cosmetically beautiful, but I always just sort of picture them undressed under the sun, and it doesn't seem revealing when they're naked. It doesn't seem like a win. If someone's really super pale, it seems just like you've won them, you've got them undressed kind of thing. And I always used to joke and say, anybody that's from an area that I wouldn't find hot, I'd love their wine. It's really weird. That was the joke. It's like, I'd love their wine, but I wouldn't be into them. Good. 2 more, then we can chill. Keep going. James, another question? Any question? Think about Lukey's dumbass life and existence, whatever. Any question? We'll do this next week because questions are so important. You go to France, it's 50-50, question, answer. People don't know how to ask questions. So next week, I'll have you asking each other questions. Yeah? Think of a question, James.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
Now, this is very good. I'm very proud of the question Janet just came up with because it gave me that format. I'm ever so super glad you've asked this. Well done, because it's reminded me that the 2 other things that we need to do, something we've done in this class quite a lot before, ironically, you 3 were here. James, what do I mean by present hypothetical versus past hypothetical?
If you did something in the past,
you need your address stitching on your clothes. You really do. You really do. Good grief, we've done this. Present hypothetical is a hypothetical situation that could still occur. And the past hypothetical is a hypothetical situation that can no longer occur. So you are talking about hypothetically changing the present or hypothetically changing the past. James, if I said, if you lived in London, where would you drink? Is that hypothetically present or hypothetically past?
Hypothetically present.
Good, because it could still happen. If you had lived in London in the 90s, where would you have drunk? Is that hypothetically past or hypothetically present?
Hypothetically past.
Good. Which 2 tenses do we use on the hypothetical present? Fuck the fact it's called present. You're not going to use anything in the present tense. What 2 tenses do we use in the hypothetical present, James? Jenna, any idea?
Well, I would say
Janet, no, if you know it, you know it. You know it, you've done it. Janet, any idea?
Was and would.
Was and would, or would and was. The one that comes after if. This is incredibly patronizing. James, what letter does the word if begin with? This one's fine. What letter does the word if begin with?
S.
In English.
Oh, F. Wait,
Does it begin with?
What does it begin with? I.
You worry the fucking shit out of me. What the second letter of the word see? Also,
I.
good God, that's not a 7-second question. What's the second letter of the word see? Quickly.
I.
Thank you. Good God, you indulgent prick. What is the tense of the, what's the formal name of the was tense? It is known as the
Imperfect.
good, or in French, and in English it would be the
Imperfect.
Good. So when you've got these two clauses, if you lived in London, you would do this, or you would do this if you lived in London. You can go either way around. So the if clause will always give you the was, and then the other one will give you a would. So in top 6 and bottom 6, it's 2 and 4. That's the present hypothetical. Was and would, or would and was. But the one with the if goes on the was. It's the most enormously important bit of French grammar you can do. If we go into the hypothetical past, what two tenses, Janet, do we use in the hypothetical past?
I think it's was and would, but on the auxiliary.
Was and would, but on the auxiliary. So let's try that model. I'll say that again. Jenna, have a go. Was and would on the present hypothetical. No auxiliaries. Was and would on the auxiliaries. But I don't want to say plus que parfait conditional past because it's stupid. So was and would, but on the auxiliaries. So let's do the present one first. If I knew the answer, I would say something. Jenna, is it present hypothetical or past hypothetical?
A past.
If I knew the answer, I would say something. Could that still happen?
Well, yes.
Let me tell you what threw you off, which is what throws all basic bitches off. The fact that in English, we go to the ED. If you lived in London, your brain goes, lived. Lived is in the past. Imagine I said to you in English, tomorrow, Jenna, if you went to the mall, what would you treat yourself to? Yeah, you went as standard is in which part is which tenses in English, Jenna? Past, present, or future? You went. In English, is you went past, present, or future?
The past.
Gorgeous. But notice if it's hypothetically speaking, even in English, if you lived here, what would you do? If you won, you won. You win, present tense, you won, past tense. Can you hear that even in English, we go to the past? Yeah. So do we acknowledge that the imperfect is also one of our past tenses, Jenna, in French? Do we acknowledge that? Yes? Do we acknowledge that, Jenna, that the was tense is in the past in English, in French? I can't hear you. Your voice is cutting out.
Yes.
Good. So don't be thrown. So if it's if you knew the answer, you would say. Are we hypothetical present or hypothetical past?
It's the hypothetical present.
Good. You can check it with 2 words, tomorrow and yesterday. Tomorrow, if you knew the answer, you would say. That doesn't sound stupid. Yeah. Yesterday, if you knew the answer, you would say. That sounds weird. Yesterday, if you had known the answer, although sometimes we're lazy, we say yesterday if you knew, you would have said. Yeah, that works. Okay, so you just know from yesterday or tomorrow which one you're in. So if you can say tomorrow, it's in the hypothetical present. If you can say yesterday, it's in the hypothetical past. So how would you say, Jenna, if you knew the answer, you would say? What 2 tenses did we say we were going to go with, Jenna?
Imperfect, but and conditional.
No,
on the
I
auxiliary.
didn't say that at all. Do what I asked. I asked you to say was and would. What did we say?
Okay, so it's the was, and then the
I don't want
would.
a sentence. I don't want a sentence. I want you to say was and would. Just say was and would.
Day?
No, Jenna, you're annoying me. Turn your camera off. Turn your camera off. Your signal shit. Turn your camera off. Right, now, what 2 tenses do I want for the hypothetical present? I want to hear 2 words out of you.
Was and would.
That's 3 words. I want to hear 2 words out of you. What 2 tenses do I want to hear for the hypothetical present? In 2 words.
Was, would.
Good job. All right? That's simple. Fuck imperfect. Fuck all of this shit. We don't do it. So would you please say for me, if you knew the answer, you would say?
Si tu savais la réponse, tu le dirais.
Good. Would you now please give me, if you lived in Paris, you would speak lots of French?
Si tu habitais à Paris, tu parlerais beaucoup de français.
Great. Would you now say for me, if you had lived in Paris, you would have spoken lots of French? Is this hypothetical past or hypothetical future? Hypothetical past or hypothetical present?
Past.
Great. So now say for me, if you had lived, make it a question. If you had lived in Paris, would you have spoken lots of French? Make it a question.
Si tu avais habité à Paris, est-ce
Good.
est-ce que tu auras parlé beaucoup français?
No. But, stop. Means stop. What two tenses do we use? Was and what.
And word, conditional.
Hypothetical past, we use was and would on the what.
Auxiliary.
So I don't hear aura. So si tu avais habité à Paris, tu
Aurais parlé.
Make it a question. Est-ce que tu aurais?
Est-ce que tu aurais parlé beaucoup de français?
Good. Lovely. James, this is the last thing of today we're going to do. You're going to do a hypothetical present and a hypothetical past. James, what two tenses do we use in the hypothetical present?
Was and would.
What two tenses do we use on the hypothetical past?
Was and would on the auxiliary.
Good boy. If you listened to Luke more often, you would find French easier. So that's a statement rather than an if. If it was a question, if you listen to Luke more often, do you think you would listen? That you would. We could make it into a question. Est-ce que tu penses que tu? Fine. We could structure it to make it a question. It's very commonly a question, the hypothetical, but we're just going to do it as a hypothetical first, just to check that we're good. So say for me, if you listened to Luke, you would find French easier. Are we in the hypothetical past or the hypothetical present?
Present.
Good. What are we coming with the if clause first? Yeah. So are we going was, would, or would, was? If you listen to Luke, are we going to go was, would, or would, was if we're starting with the if clause?
We're going to go was, would.
You disgust me. You're completely right, but you've got no memory of what we did. What letter does if start with? What letter does the word if start with in English?
An I.
Why did I tell you that? What did I say earlier that you've just completely forgotten? The if clause has the imperfect. The if clause has the was. Yes, that's why I made the point. Yes, I felt incredibly patronizing saying it, but look, it's gone. So would you please say for me, if you listen to Luke, you would find French easier.
Si tu entendais.
No, the verb is écoute. Go on.
Si tu écoutais à Luc.
Oh, God. Every week I do this, every week I do this, every week I do this, every week I do this with you. What's the verb to listen to?
Écouter.
So say to me, I listen to Luke.
Si je...
No. Just I listen to Luke, present tense.
J'écoutais Luc.
James, give me the fucking present tense of an ER verb. Go, good boy. I listen. Go, come on, no fucking around. Present tense. I listen. The verb is écouter. What's the present tense?
J'écoute.
Thank you. Now, so I've just told you that the verb to listen to. What did you just tell me the verb to listen to was?
J'écoutais à.
Shut up. What did you just tell me the verb to listen to was? It was
écouter.
Good. Is there a fucking a in it?
No.
As I tell you every time I've ever worked with you, what's the verb to look for?
Chercher.
Is it chercher pour?
No.
What's the verb to wait for?
Attendre.
Good boy. Is it attendre pour?
No.
No. What's the verb to look at?
Voir. Regarder.
Good boy. Well pronounced, not regarder. Is it regarder à?
No.
Just because French is a C, of fucking prepositions everywhere else, it doesn't add them there. So how do you say for me, if you listened to Luke. There's no fucking two in it. Off you go. Si tu
écoutes.
No, stand still. What tense have you just told me is coming after the C?
Is the imperfect the
Good boy.
was.
The was. Off you go. So si tu. If you listen to Luke.
Si tu écoutais Luc.
Good. Not a fucking out or I'll knock it out of you. Your friend, you would find French easier.
Tu vas trouver.
Stand still. What tense have you just told me is going to team with the was?
Conditional.
Which is the would. What's the ending for the would? Everybody.
Ray,
Yeah. Or the ray of light coming down. Yeah. Off you go.
Yeah.
So you would find tu trouves.
Tu trouveras.
The would pissing ending. Told me.
Tu
Take your hand off your face. Stop hiding. What's the ending you just told me?
trouverais.
Good boy.
trouverais.
French easy.
Tu trouverais. Le foie.
French easier. Le franc.
Le français est plus facile.
Put it together. Si tu écoutais Luc plus souvent, more often, we'll give plus souvent, more often, tu trouverais le français plus facile. Si tu écoutais Luc plus souvent, tu trouverais le français plus facile. Si tu écoutais Luc plus souvent, tu trouverais le français plus facile.
Si tu écoutais Luc plus souvent,
Good.
tu trouverais le français plus facile.
Nice accent. If you and that could obviously be a question. If you listen to Luke, do you think you'd find French easier? Si tu écoutais Luc, est-ce que tu penses que tu trouverais le français plus facile? That could easily become a question, which is why we're doing it for this. Final sentence of the day. Don't let me down. If you had listened to Luke, you would have found French easier. Past hypothetical or present hypothetical, James?
Past hypothetical.
Gorgeous. What two tenses did you just tell me get used in the past hypothetical?
Was and would on the auxiliary.
So they both have an auxiliary. There we go. If you had listened to Luke.
Tu avais écouté Luc.
Good. Flawless. You would have found French easier.
Tu auras.
Stand still. In the nads. What bloody ending did you just bloody tell me goes on a wood tense?
Aurais.
Good boy. James, come with me to the bloody forest. I'll fucking kill you there. While we're there, we'll look up at the canopy. What is coming through the canopy of trees in the forest?
Light.
A ray of light. Like the Madonna album. So basically, yeah, when she was relevant. Ray. Everybody's like, oh, it's just ageism. It's not ageism at all. She did a good album. We love her. It's just shit. Fucking sliding around in fucking fishnet tights and talking bollocks. So, Ray. So what you would have found? Tu
aurais.
Found, past tense. Tu aurais
Trouvé.
Don't make me like a mommy bird, stick one word into your mouth at a time. Give me the thing you would have found French easier.
Tu aurais trouvé le français plus facile.
In human speech coherently. Si tu avais écouté Luc, tu aurais trouvé le français plus facile. Si tu avais écouté Luc, tu aurais trouvé le français plus facile. And then we can rest.
Si tu avais écouté Luc, tu trouverais.
No, excuse me, look at me. Did we just do an auxiliary?
Yeah.
On the previous. So we need an auxiliary. Would on the auxiliary.
Tu aurais trouvé le français plus facile.
Good. Nice accent. Fuck me, I've got the patience of Job. Lovely. So that's good. So you both asked really good questions because you need that. Because commonly, you know, I'll just say one thing on a slightly more advanced level on that thing for the slightly more advanced people watching. People learn first sentence was, second sentence would, or first sentence would, second sentence was. Be very mindful you can have multiple sentences in both camps. if you lived in France and you didn't need to go to work and you'd won the lottery, what do you think you'd do? Where would you live? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. There could be multiple on either side. Et alors, si tu habitais en France, et si tu gagnais le loto, et si tu devais pas bosser, où est-ce que tu habiterais? Qu'est-ce que tu ferais? You know, you can have different bits in different sides. If you had understood the question and the teacher had asked you, you know, and you hadn't, you know, misunderstood the exam, do you think you'd have, you know, you could do multiple. Si tu avais bien compris, voilà, si le prof t'avait posé la question et si tu avais, voilà, saisi l'examen, non, est-ce que tu l'aurais trouvé plus facile? Est-ce que tu aurais eu ton bac? Whatever. So be very mindful at the more advanced that in the hypotheticals, it's not just question 1, question 2. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. There's normally at least a good couple of statements on both sides. Same as I've said to Janet before, if you have a delayed subjunctive, you learn first sentence, second sentence. Si, je suis content que Janet soit ici. Moi, je suis content que Janet soit là. It could be, I'm happy because, you know, she was away for ages. You know, she's away. She's off in the fucking cold doing something, you know, random and exciting. That she's happy here, you know, that she's here now. So by the time you get to your delayed second clause, it could be halfway down the fucking tracks. Alors moi, je suis ravie parce qu'elle était absente. Oui, alors elle a fait quand même ce séjour juste avant Noël, voilà. Je sais pas où elle était, machin, un endroit super intéressant. Qu'elle soit ici. You know, by the time you get back to your second clause, so it's very important when you're learning partnership clauses to realise that in proper adult French, it won't always be that obvious. Do you see what I mean, Janet? Yeah, you might have other things in the way. Yes? Good, chillax. If you people are watching me at home, pay me. There'll be a coffee link underneath. It's very much appreciated. These people here know how to pay me. I'm going to press stop recording.